Okay, we are back and back better than ever. Well, we're back. It's been raining a good part of the week for us in Eretz Yisrael. This is rainy and cold. Well, it's rainy. Rain's rain, but it rained a lot this week. Good few days of good rain. Um, and kind of also been cold. It's been 50s this week, even though in New York it's 30s and 20s and stuff like that. But here, Beit Shemesh, 50s is cold because we don't have proper insulation here. It gets drafty. So literally, it's outside, it's 50, inside, it's 52. So it's a little chilly here. But Baruch Hashem, today it's going to hit 60, and I'm going to head outside and go biking. Been cooped up all day on the treadmill. But should be able to go outside for a little bit today. So, as far as Ba'era, so Mari 9 has this interesting idea. It's really interesting idea. Is we see in the first pasuk, Ani Hashem, and this response. We don't remember the responses from last week's parsha. Lam Hariyosam Hazem. Why did you make this bad for these people? And this parsha starts off with just a takedown. Let's be really honest here. A takedown by Daber Lakim, the meat of din, by Daber harsh. Avosai mentions the Avos didn't question Shmi Hashem, that Moshe got to see Hashem at the burning bush. Well, he got there at the sneh. And Moshe comes back with Tzrayim and says, how do you harm Hashem? And it's hard to understand. It's hard to question Moshe, although Korach didn't have a problem with that. How do we find any fault in Moshe? We have to tread very lightly in this parsha. How we tread lightly with the greatest person who walked the planet to talk to Hashem. So how do you fault? How do you comment on this? But I think we're taking the words of the Morinayim, and so we have people to stand on, stand behind, I guess. And this idea of seeing the bad and the good, this das, that is the idea that the Hashem is talking about. Sometimes, we have moments in the life, things are rough, people aren't well, people pass away early, people get killed, people have a hard time with parnasa, young people getting sick. And obviously with hardships in life, you can't deny these are hard things. Children dying, soldiers have to go fight and put up their lives, and some soldiers don't make it back. How do we deal with this? These are hard things, and what's happening? And Parashat Ba'era really sets us what this is all about. And when Hashem says that miss the avos, Shir Shem lo him, that the word die was enough, meaning that the measure, midah, the word die is like midah, that a certain measure was enough. Then what the avos got was enough not to question Hashem. They didn't need crazy miracles all the time. They didn't need great things to happen all the time. But they recognized Hashem in what was given to them. And that's really kind of what Shema is all about. Meodecha. Meodecha is translated also as far as midah. The midah that you get, you're supposed to love Hashem in the midah that you get. Sometimes the midah is, sometimes you get too much rachamim, too much gevura. Sometimes your patience, anger, some midos a person gets, some that you face. And a person has to see Hashem in all these things. That's at that moment, that's what Hashem wants from you, that Hashem gives you. And each midah along the way, rich, poor, and my Chabrusa says, why he's talking about rich and poor? So I don't know. It's another discussion. But the poor person, how do you see Hashem in being poor? Some people have better lives when they're poor, and some people get money and then they have a horrible life. You win the lottery, and all of a sudden, you have no menuchas nefesh. So to see what Hashem gave you, where you're living, your family, what Hashem gave you, that's what you have to love Hashem in that, and be happy with that, exactly that. Now, there's Gemara in Shabbos 89, with Bays, for those taking score at home. One of my father's favorite Gemaras. We've talked about this often. Yaakov Kamenetsky has an idea on this, Saint Yaakov. But Marinayim quotes this Gemara and says that Hashem wanted to destroy the Jewish people, the sinning, and approaches Avram, and Avram says no. Avram can't save the Jewish people, and Yaakov can't save the Jewish people. Yitzchak is the one to save the Jewish people. And Yitzchak says, how much people really sin. They're sleeping half the time until they're 20, chayiv after 60. So they're not really chayiv so much. How is this idea? So when HaKadosh Baruch was praising the Avos that they had something that Moshe didn't have, particularly with Yitzchak. Yitzchak is the one, the quintessential of the Avos, even though Yaakov combines Chesed Gevura, Rachamim, the midah of din. To embrace Hashem through din is the most difficult thing. And that's in Mornaim's area, is this how you make yourself a peg that doesn't move from its place? If you can appreciate Hashem and you love Hashem in the din, you're unshakable. You cannot move. As opposed to the other way around. Let's be honest. Some people love Hashem when the Jets are winning, when there's money, stock market's going well, oranges are growing in the backyard, life is good, Israel won some award, and life is good. You get a good seat on the plane, life's great. Oh, I love Hashem. You go up to shul and you're davening, you may throw kiddush. Your kid had a kid. Oh, this guy is great. What a big tzaddik. Yeah. Look at that guy. The other guy who comes to shul, and he's struggling. The other guy comes to shul, maybe just throw kiddush all the time, but he's happy. He knows he's dealing a rough deck. Hashem gave him a shtickle extra din this week, this month, this year, this life. Some people don't get a break, quote unquote. Some people just have a rough time. They can't get married, can't have children. Some people, kids are taking these foreign substances. We know those families. Some people, their kids don't go to shul every week. Heck with that. Some people, they don't keep Shabbos every week. That's rough. That's rough. That's rough. Those people that still can go on happy, those people that can still say, what's my tafkid now? Where do I see Hashem in the din that I just got? That's an unshakable Jew. That's someone we look up to, and we get inspiration from that guy. So Yitzchak, Avram's Chesed and Yaakov, this. Look at Yitzchak. As far as having the das to appreciate Hashem in the din, literally he was about to be killed. This is what changed his life, and Yitzchak sees this. It's this moment where it's Yitzchak is going one way, and Yishmael and Eliezer and the donkeys go the other way. Yitzchak now is going to get married to Rivka. Yitzchak now is going to have the Yaakov, have Klal Yisrael. That moment of din, and to see this is the big deal. And this is that Moshe didn't see. Moshe is in the palace. He goes away to Midian, he runs away to Midian, wife, children. He comes back and he missed that whole lesson of being Avdus and seeing this. And also the Jews themselves. I mean, you can't fault them, even though they were promised to get out of there. When you're working and you have this crazy amount of Avdus and shiftless and you're low, you don't have time to think about das. Vidatem K'nei Hashem. That's literally the makah. Vidatem K'nei Hashem. To know this Hashem. And this people can't get. When you lose your job, you don't have time to think about God and to Musar. You got to look for work. You can't tell the bank, I'm trying to find Hashem in the din. You got to work. And this is not just Mitzrayim. This is why we mention this every day. This is one of the lessons of the Haggadah. The Rasha says, Lachem. If you don't see the Avdus as part of you and it's only a Lachem thing, then you could stay there. You're part of this klipa. You're not getting out. And this is literally what we're taking place here. The Mornaim has the idea with the walking to Gani Egozim. There's a place called Gani Ha'ala, Rabbi Shemesh, I call it, Gani Gottlieb, or Gottlieb runs it. I'm like, a better name is Gani Egozim, the place of the nuts. You go to a place with walnuts and you see the klipa, and you're like, forget that. And you move on. A person with das says, you know what? Let me just, some people get smashed with their hands, smash against a table, or using das, get nutcracker. So that harder shell is Mitzrayim. You don't see what the benefit is. You don't see what's underneath. You don't see that there's really the pre there. The fruits grow. It's the klipa first. And someone doesn't know any better. You walk by, the trees. You don't see what's underneath it. You don't see these things. You're kind of blocked. You're kind of missing the whole essence of what Hashem is, the das to understand Hashem. That idea is what we're trying to shoot for. And really, to kind of put this together, we're kind of understanding the das in the din of our lives and turn that into something to recognize Hashem. That's literally what we're trying to do here. Elokim is Hashem. The Elokim, the din, is really Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's the lesson we're trying to get through of Va'era. And these makos, we're not one makkah. Why 10? As Kliakar says, all 10 makos have to do with all 10 things that they did to us. And when we now see what they're going through, and that it's going to come at the end of all the makos, down to Makas Bachoros, now all Mitzrayim are going to know Hashem. Hashem controls the world. Hashem controls Teva. Hashem could take them out of Mitzrayim and do what he wants. This is a process. And this now the Jews have to see this. It's hard to see this by yourself. Moshe couldn't see this by himself. But now, through the next year of all the makos that are going to hit Mitzrayim, 1, 2, 3, all of them, Vidat Pnei Hashem, they'll know, Ani B'Kerev Haaretz, I'll know there's nothing like Hashem. Chog Lid Bamidbar, Hashem will take them out by basing all these ideas that a good Jew with Das is supposed to know, even in the din. We see this in the Chumash. We see this. And we're supposed to kind of get to that point. Again, you can't. Most of us can't. Let's say that. Who could be happy when something bad happens, as happy as when something good happens? Someone passes away and someone dying. Yes, But are you happy like someone was born? You lose your job. Okay, it's Hashem. Or if you damage a car that you rented when you went to your brother's wedding in Chicago, for example, are you happy? You got to pay all this money? Yes, from Hashem. Okay, but am I happy? Yes. You're supposed to see what's the takeaway? What's the takeaway? What's the das? What did Hashem want to give me at that moment? Did I think I had some extra money this month and I was going to blow it? And that's why Hashem said, you know what? You can't blow money on this thing. Or did I get enough tzedakah? If I would have given tzedakah, then maybe I would have not put the bad gas into the car. Whatever it is. Again, not speaking for me, speaking for a friend of mine. To understand this is our takeaway from Va'era Mari Naim. And this is the idea that we want to kind of look about. Find that moment that this din is coming and try to, where's the das? What midah am I trying to get from it? What's Hashem trying to show me? And trying to then find, am I being protected from something? Do I have to work on a certain midah? And to love Hashem in that moment, to grasp that moment as hard as it is, as difficult as it is. It was hard for Moshe Rabbeinu. But this is something that we have to strive. Every day we want to wake up and say, when am I going to get to the Avos? As Tiferes Shmuel, Birnbaum's yard side is Shabbos. The Avos. Come on. Can I be like Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov? Is that possible? Well, Hashem says Avosai. The Avos. They're your father. If they are your forefathers, then there's a midah. It's in you. There's a DNA of you from them in you. And therefore, don't say, oh, they're far removed. No. There's a little bit of us. The Avos are a little bit of us. And we have to kind of strive for that. They saw, the Avos, more than Moshe, they saw Hashem in these horrible conditions, getting the wife taken away, Ra'av, Milchama, Akedes Yitzchak, brother trying to kill them, uncle trying to kill them, wrong wife, more fights, son taken away. They were able to see this. We should be able to kind of grasp a little piece or strive to be able to get what they got to, is to see Hashem in the din, to see the fruit inside the klipa of the egos. Shabbat shalom.